Director and Senior Research Analyst at Sanford C. Bernstein, joining us on the show right now. Hi, Jignanshu. Good to be speaking with you. Thanks so much for making time. Well, when you came up with that initiation just a few weeks ago and you had a target of over 8,000 rupees, we were wondering that whether the valuations would allow you to see that kind of upside. But we're almost there, 100, 200 rupees away from that target price of yours. This new business that the company is adding, is that likely to then add to a lot in terms of earnings growth?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for having me, Anisha. It's a pleasure. Our target price at that point in time was primarily based on its apparel and core businesses of Zudio Apparel and Westside Apparel. Mind you, they already had around, as per estimates, between 10 to 20% of their Westside and Zudio revenues coming from beauty and personal care. So the Zudio beauty line is a way of creating an independent business, and I think there is a potential for that business to grow and add to the top line and hence add to the target price as well. Uh, I am also or I'm also very excited about the lab-grown diamond business, which Westside has announced under the brand name of POM. It is an unknown space in India, largely so far, but it fits very nicely with the whole consumer theme in India, which is about aspirational buying from consumers, but not every consumer can really uh, afford a real diamond. So I think both these avenues that they have are net positive for the company. They open up adjacent but incremental TAM from to a target sort of the same consumer segment that they have been targeting with Zudio and Westside. So I think it is a positive. It's a good strategic positioning by the company. Of course, before putting any numbers to it, we will need to understand how these plans are put into motion, how quickly are they are put into motion. But both are positive, largely.
Okay, so this lab-grown diamond, this is not something new that Trent has come out with. Obviously, this lab-grown diamond market was already existing in India. Now, given the fact that Westside already has an established chain of a lot of stores across India, do you think that now Westside also getting into this lab-grown diamond, it will increase the overall industry size? And what different could Westside do to increase the industry size or to boost the demand when it comes to lab-grown diamond, as per your understanding?
I think Zudio or even to some extent Westside are not necessarily known for innovation on the consumer side, but more innovation on the operations and the business model side. I think that has been their strength, which has been largely hidden in the last 5 to 7 years. The strength of building a supply chain, the strength of having a completely digital supply chain, and then being able to create the franchisee owned company operated business model to scale fast. I think those strengths apply very well to both these new businesses as well, and specifically lab grown diamond. In India, so far, while the market has been there, the global market has been more abuzz than the Indian market. Uh, the strength for Westside would be to leverage the customer base, which already gives them 1,500 to 2,000 rupees for apparel, which is in the mid to high end, which is aspirational customer, and sell them a 25 to 30,000 rupee per carat diamond ring, which is the customer who cannot afford to buy a 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupee diamond ring. I think the way the uh, lab grown diamond works well is because it targets both the top end of the pyramid and the middle of the pyramid. So consumers who already have diamonds are also known to buy lab grown diamonds, or who can afford a real diamond also buy it for multiple reasons. So they want to buy it for more variety. They want to upsize their carat. They want to buy it for their kids. So that target also exists. And then you can bring consumers who wanted to buy a diamond always because of its aspirational nature, but could not afford to. So that, for me, is precisely the West Side consumer as well. And then if you put on top of it the back end and supply chain strengths, and franchisee as a model which is well known in jewelry business in India, then they have the ingredients to really scale this up well. I think it will expand the market just because of them being Tata, them being aggressive as they have been with Zodio in the past. But I think the impact will be a few sort of quarters or years away, as they will
Right,
first
sir.
need to find the product market fit and understand
Right.
how to run store operations.
Also, one more thing that I was quite interesting and wanted to understand from your side is that currently they have opened up this new product in West Side store itself. But do you see in near future that they might go ahead and open exclusive brand outlets for this lab grown diamond going forward? And if that happens, that won't it impact their working capital in any way? Any understanding on that front?
So yeah, they might. They have done similar things with Zudio, which was inside a Star Bazaar first, and they have now done it with Zudio Beauty, which was inside Zudio first. Uh, so they have the history of testing different product categories or sub brands and then pulling them out as individual brands and hence store networks. So it's very much possible. I think we should look at the unit economics of a jewelry business if they pull it out completely independently. I think that working capital requirement increases whether they put it inside Westlife or they put it outside. So I think that does not change. Uh, if they start opening more stores, I would take that as a signature that they have figured out, they have more confidence in growing it faster than earlier. So that would be, in fact, a net positive for me, the same way that I am looking at Zudio Beauty. That they have the confidence of selling 100, 200 rupees beauty products. Large SKUs are mostly in that price range, and being able to be store level EBITDA profitable. They would not. Trent is not a company which is known for taking net dilutive calls.
And lastly, on this topic on the lab grown diamond, do you expect this new brand for lab grown diamonds to be the next Zudio in this industry and to be a disruptive force and could also topple or could be a disruptive force?
I think it has all the ingredients. We will, and I would go out on a limb and say that yes, they have all the ingredients of being disruptive. So it is a large, potentially large and growing a TAM which grows very fast. It's a product which typically requires physical stores, which and that operation is something that Trent is really good at. And they can also deploy their franchisee-owned, company-owned model when they really want to scale this up, which in fact allows them to extract working capital from the franchisee. So I
Okay.
think it has all the ingredients going for Trent.
Okay, so the ingredients are present, but what about the beauty space? Because that's getting more and more competitive. Don't you think that the company might have to spend a lot more, perhaps, in their advertising, marketing spends, etc., to garner a market share there? Of course, Tira, Nykaa, a lot of homegrown brands have come up there. What exactly could be the USP that Zudio might be able to bag here?
So I think personally, beauty will be a more difficult market to scale the same way they have done apparel. Uh, in apparel, there wasn't anybody who was giving that experience to a customer at that price point. Like you rightly mentioned, there is competition in the beauty space. So we expect their marketing spends will have to go up at the store level. Maybe not, they don't do large scale marketing, but it will go up in the medium term. Uh, and I think the store increment will also require more capex. So I think both those will be impacted. Uh, However, it's a very good optionality for them because it is very adjacent to their to their apparel business, and they have tested it inside Zudio stores. So I expect it to have that increase in working capital or marketing for probably a few quarters,
Okay.
but in the medium term, it should recover.
Okay, but if I had to ask, and I know it's too early to kind of put in those projections, but what could be those, additional numbers? Because as you talked about, your 8,100 target was in the apparel business and their mainstay business. With these two getting added, what kind of upside one should potentially envisage?
I think given the way markets are and the stock is, it's very, very difficult to say at this stage. We'll work on some numbers and we'll see where they throw the light. But today we are confident that 8,100 is a good target price, with both of these giving potential upsides. we need to walk through the numbers to get to the potential upsides. Haven't done that so far, Anisha.
Sure, I know it's too early to bake that in, but thanks, Jignanshu, for dropping by and discussing the entire thesis on Trent and how it's likely to pan out from here on. But what's the thesis for coming in?
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.